Obviously, the show commands we've been using here in the switching section are a valuable source of information, but so are these lights that are on the front of most Cisco switches. I don't want to say they're in the same place on every switch because, of course, they're not. And there can be differences between models even that are very close to each other. It's like slight differences in the iOS. But you're almost, I can't think of a switch that doesn't have a system light on it. And we'll talk about these others as well. We're starting with a 2950 here from our server room. It's a very popular home lab switch. And we've got a system light and RPS, status, utility, duplex, and speed. The one below it looks like a giant light on a 2950, but it's not. It's actually just a button. It's a mode button. And you're going to press that to toggle through these lights. Now for system and RPS, they have meanings unto themselves. We're going to go over that in a minute because there is some memorization involved here with what the different lights mean. But as you toggle through status and duplex and speed, the lights on the individual ports are going to change as well. And we need to know what those mean. So let's take a look here at the 2960. You can see, certainly the format of the light, if you will, is a little bit different in the arrangement. We don't have a utility light on this one, but we do have, again, system, RPS, status, duplex, and speed. And there's our little mode button. Let's talk about what these lights mean on these particular models. Now that system light, if you don't have a light there, then the switch is off. And that's where you need to start your troubleshooting because we're obviously not getting anywhere if we don't have any power. If you have a green light, you're up and running, as you would expect. Green light almost always means that. Amber light there means you've got power, but something else is wrong. And I know that's incredibly vague. At least it's a starting point. But that is what the system light means. That RPS is your redundant power supply status light. And if that's off, well, your RPS is off, or of course you don't have one. Solid green means connected and ready to roll. Flashing green means it's connected, but it's currently supplying power to another device, so it can't help the device that you're on right now. Solid amber means the RPS itself is in standby or in fault. There's a standby button on the RPS that you could press. If you hit that, it should come out of standby. But it could be in fault itself, as this mentions. Flashing amber means that the internal power supply of the switch has failed and the RPS is getting power to that switch. So a lot going on there with those two. Now again, those two are lights unto themselves. They just indicate what we just went over. Status, duplex, and speed are again going to change the individual LED lights as well. And let's see exactly what that means. Now if you see status, duplex, and speed go green when you toggle to it, that is simply telling you the individual status, duplex, and speed for each port is accurate. So bringing that up again, if you were toggling through and you went to status, if this goes solid green, which it usually does, that's just telling you, hey, everything you see over here on your individual switch ports is perfectly fine. It's perfectly accurate. So we better know what those values mean. Now status, we're used to seeing flashing green. You look in the back of a switch and router cabinet, you see little green lights going all over the place. Well, on a switch, flashing green means that traffic is going through the interface at that moment, and it's doing so properly. Solid green means the port is up, but no traffic is going through the port. Flashing amber to green means that we have some kind of link fault going on. That's very different from solid amber. And solid amber means the port is simply not forwarding. It's likely STP is causing that. There are other things that could cause it. But again, solid amber means it's just not forwarding. Off, port is not physically up, and it may well be administratively shut down. That's definitely the first thing I would check. With duplex, off doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a duplex at all. Green means the port is running at full duplex, and off means it's running at half duplex. So that's where off doesn't mean the port is totally down, that you have no duplex at all. Half duplex is better than no duplex at all, but you still should do something about that. Now with the speed, and you got to watch this one, flashing green means your port is running at gig Ethernet speed. Solid green means it's running at fast Ethernet speed, and off means it's still running, but it's running at Ethernet speed. Again, watch those last two because it's really easy to look at an off LED and think there's a problem when there isn't. And that really sums up the lights. It's a good source of information, as I mentioned. Let's take one more look at those. Again, here's the 2950. You just hit the mode button and you'll toggle through the lights. And if you toggle it to status, utility, or speed, you need to look at the individual LED ports to see what's going on there. And the exact same thing here on a 2960. And you just hit mode to toggle through, and that is it. That's it for that particular video. Next, we're going to do some trunking, and we might have to do a little troubleshooting there. We might come back to the lights. Who knows? So we'll see you on the next video.